Well, if your bank has dropped your credit limit or canceled one of your cards abruptly, well, you are in a lot of company.
Months ago, KSL consumer investigator Matt Gephardt told us about this slash on spending limits for millions, but that number has grown drastically since. Matt?
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Ashley, good evening. You know, when the pandemic first began, we were talking about some 50 million people who had a credit card limit either slashed or completely closed by their credit card company without their knowledge. You can now add 70 million more Americans to that list. Why is this happening? You ask. KSL investigates. According to Compare Cards, an estimated 70 million of us had our limits slashed or our bank accounts canceled by banks between mid-May and mid-July. Now, most credit limits were cut by no more than $1,000, but still, nearly a quarter were dropped by at least $5,000. And 1 out of every 4 cardholders told Compare Cards that at least one of their credit cards was completely closed by the card issuer.
Banks don't know who is risky to lend to and who is safe to lend to.
Matt Scholes of Lending Tree says that banks are trying to avoid potential losses from the pandemic's economic impact, and they can cut your limit without any advance notice, even if your job situation is still fine and you are paying your bills on time.
There's really nothing that you can do to guarantee that you won't be impacted by a credit limit reduction or a card closure.
And you get punished in this process because this lowers your overall credit limit, and that lowers your credit score, possibly by a lot. About 1/3 of your score is made up of how much available credit you have. And the lower your score, the more you pay for a house, a car, insurance, a loan, and on when you finance. So what can you do about it?
Make sure that none of your credit cards are completely inactive or dormant.
That's right. Get those cards out and use them for some sort of small purchase. A run to the grocery store, streaming service, tank of gas, anything under $50. Then pay in full and repeat every couple of months. Scholl says expect slashes like this to continue until there's more stability in the market. That probably doesn't happen until we have some sort of concrete answers on where coronavirus is going.